him. It is I. So there is still the awareness from the human perspective between the heart energy center and the throat. There is still the ability to speak from this perspective. Once it moves between the throat and the third eye, the transition is made. And then so on, up through other energetic centers, above and around the physical body. It is a field that is generated. It is not that the person, Eileen, is gone. This is a blending of the greater energetics of who she is. This is the case for most of humanity. They are able to make this choice to move through these shifts in perception, in communion, and access more of the self. Who or what is speaking at this moment? It is love. It is foreign to most and frightening, simply because it feels out of control, out of egoic control. So this is why it is of great importance to transcend this conditioned egoic mind. There are many initiations that can be consciously chosen, in which to rise above or expand beyond the egoic mind and to see and perceive more of the truth of who you are. It takes courage. It takes a commitment. There is no death, though it may seem like death to the ego. Therefore, it is not so much an overall fear of losing the body and dying in this conditioned way of perceiving death. It is more the egoic fear of losing control. It is the egoic mind that develops identity and a sense of belonging to the conditioned virtual reality. Once it is perceived within the consciousness, the conditioned mind, the egoic mind, that you are not moving forward, decisions are made. Can you move beyond the conditioned mind? Can you choose differently? Or perhaps surrender to this love that is you and is your source, that wants to reblend and become conscious in your life on earth. If it is not possible, decisions are made to move on in other ways. We have spoken of this many times. But here is the shift. The shift is in your ability to understand, to comprehend, to see, to perceive, to feel who is in charge in any given moment in your reality. There are ways to know this beyond a shadow of a doubt, and it is through feeling. There are still a great many humans who have become stagnant with their feeling nature, who have shut it down and have dismissed it, devalued it in the world. This is not to be judged at all, for there has been a common intention to create this smaller reality for the purpose of utilizing human energy for specific purposes, intentions. This, as we have said many times, is over now. It is over. And what you are witnessing in 2017, first quarter, is how we have framed it previously, is the middle management that has refused to give up, to release their long-standing project with humanity. And here is the shift. The shift does not happen in your outer world. You truly have the power to empower yourself, to heal, and to embody not only what has been conditioned out of you through this project, but to embody far greater dimensions of you. Now, this is possible. This is a choice now for any and all. While we still do read that there is a smaller population who will not choose this and have made this known, they will transition in other ways. This is not of your concern. For as we see it, there is still in the collective a great deal of distraction from your own conscious choices. So anytime you are looking to the world out there to fill you in on your own choices, to fill you in before making a choice, there would be a recommendation to pause and take note of this. For in truth, the outer world at this point is only serving now as your validation for your own choices. It is an inner choice. It is an inner connection with your source. And if you do not believe that this is possible, then perhaps there is a bit more practice and attention for you. But understand that these choices must be made now, soon. There are no predictions here from this collective voice, for you are all in charge of your unfolding into what is perceived at this point as future realities. So the shift is letting go of information from your outer world. This does not mean that you do not tap back in to feel into the collective, to see what is unfolding, but understand that you must be strong enough with your own sense of self and your own empowerment so that you do not fall back into distraction and believing that the outer world is dictating your reality, for it is not. You are in full charge of this now. You are in full charge of your healing and recollecting yourself from these many other dimensions. You may say in this moment that you do not know how to do this, and we are saying that you do. For we see all of you. Now, some have viewed these energetics as angels, and we have used this word from time to time. And that is all right. But know that our purpose is simply to hold the space for you in what seems like a very long time of being asleep. But from our point of view, it is no time at all. Now, many of you are perceiving these energetics, and you are perceiving these aspects of yourself that you once called angel. This presence is actually who you are, simply the portions that had to go when it did not fit in with the virtual conditioned reality. So they became your good characters who come to help from time to time, to help guide, to help inspire, to be a part of your creative projects, and so on. Understand that we are you. Allow the blending to occur. Trust in this. understand that if you do not trust it, it is simply due to the fact that you have not felt it yet. And there are many reasons why this may be. If you have not felt this love at this timing, and you are still confused and anxious and giving your power to the outer world creations, it is simply that you cannot feel. It is not that you were on the short end of the stick when these awarenesses, these perceptions were handed out. It does not work this way. It is that you have bought into the conditioning. And when people refer to humanity waking up, humanity shifting, we will say again, this is what it is. It sounds very simple, the shift from outer to inner, so that you may rediscover your source within. For many of you, it is more challenging, simply because you do not have the references both in your body and in your outer world. But understand that when you choose to feel it in your body and to commune with these other aspects of self that have been pushed away due to the conditioning, this is the beginning of your path to restore this connection and to change your outer world to reflect it. You have been taught that it is the outer world that dictates to you, and outer other characters that dictate your reality. It is not true. It is false. Now, for some, they have been able to make this shift and get a foothold in truth, in feeling reality. You will feel what truth feels like in your body. And these are your markers. You will know beyond a shadow of a doubt what truth is and how you fit into this reality. Again, we do not say do not pay attention to your outer world at all, for that is not recommended. It is a balance at this point. You are in between. You are turning the bus around, so to speak, back to your core. For some, it takes a bit more time than others. There are many of you that are convinced that this shift is coming from the outer world. And so you continue to look at your ETs and your governments and your political candidates and your preachers and philosophers. There may be bits and pieces of truth that come from these places. But understand that once you shift to your own inner core and you begin to build from this place, you will see the validation coming from all of these places and more. For you will be rebuilding your outer world reality from your inner core, your inner connection to your source. Understand that the choice is yours. the sooner that each individual consciousness arrives in this understanding, the more quickly you will see the outer world changes. No more hiding and wondering what will happen next. You begin to embody your true identity, a universal identity, a multidimensional identity, if you will. You will begin speaking from this place. You will build community from this place. Release your attachment to the ideas that this will take a long time. It will not take a long time. Once this inner choice, conscious choice, is made. Now, at a certain point, there is the idea of critical mass. It is not that those following will dovetail into this awareness automatically. Understand that it will just be easier for them, for they will have the outer world validation more so than those who initiated the shift with their choices. So all of what you are seeing is due to individual humans making this choice within to shift. Some of these individuals arrived here on earth to do just this. Maintaining their connection to source to some degree, to enough of a degree, to feel source and to feel source love so that they may remember. And there has been a program of sorts in place to remind them of what they intended, to assist humanity in making this shift from outer to inner, to realign with the universal, instead of the old, smaller programs of containment. So we do not have scientific terminology with this particular individual that we blend with. For language is not something that is necessary in these more expanded dimensional realms. It is understood through feeling and knowing. Understand that the reality, the three-dimensional reality that you have been so focused within, is very well known for its intention to break things down into very small, itty-bitty pieces, to study the mechanics of how things work in that realm. Where the scientist now is also blending with instantaneous access to the laws of the universe. Instantaneous knowing with no further desire to break things down to levels, to study. Perhaps as a side exploration or project, but not for the purpose of understanding life. and the laws of the universe. For these are known and accessed directly through the awakened capacities of your original design. So you are all remembering your original design and more. So we speak to those who consider themselves awake, who consider themselves spiritual, who have a practice, who support others through healing. We press this information even further into you. Ask yourself if you have made this shift, even though your outer world identity is considered spiritual. Have you in actuality made this shift from receiving and perceiving reality from your inner core that is connected to your source? Or are you also contributing to the distractions in the outer world? Stand now as an example of this. Remember your intentions for the life. Be willing to surrender all that you thought you knew, even of a spiritual nature. Become more like an artist at this timing than a light worker, do you see? For many of the definitions of light worker have come from this more dense reality, simply as a way to redefine the self within the container that existed, that humanity gave their power to. You too are making this shift. Open yourself to the creative force and allow it to blend with you to recreate yourself and your world. We simply make this point that there is no hierarchy of those who understand and those who do not within the old condensed reality. If you are still operating or trying to operate in the old parameters, even referring to yourself as a healer, this will not work either. Make the shift. Trust that you will reconnect with all that you are. Feel the inspiration and begin to paint your new reality. Ahí está.